Good morning, class 10. Let us conclude the chapter Footprints Without Feet. We are doing about the lawless activities. We are discussing about the lawless activities which Griffin is doing. We have seen in our last class that Griffin caused lots of troubles to Mr. and Mrs. Hall, and the furniture in the room was behaving very strangely, and the chair was becoming alive. It was springing up in the air, it was hitting the legs of Mrs. Hall. Then Mr. and Mrs. Hall were pushed out of the room by the furniture, and the door closed by itself and made a loud sound, made a sound of a loud bang. So this is where we had stopped in our last English class. Now today we will see what else does Griffin do to create troubles and make the lives of people, you can say, a hell. Let us start. Mrs. Hall almost fell down the stairs in hysterics when Mr. and Mrs. Hall were turned out of the room by the strange activities of the furniture. The chair had pushed them out of the room, and by seeing all these things happening in the house, Mrs. Hall almost fell down the stairs in hysterics. Hysterics means extreme fear. She was extremely frightened to see that the furniture in the house of Mr. and Mrs. Hall was behaving in such a weird and strange manner. She had never seen such a thing ever happening in her life. Mrs. Hall almost fell down the stairs in hysterics. She was convinced that the room was haunted by spirits. Why she was convinced that the room was haunted by spirits? The simple reason is she could not see anybody around. There was nobody. She could not find anybody in the room. There was nobody that could be traced in the room, and the chair was rising up. The chair was hitting the legs of Mrs. Hall, etc., etc. So many strange things happened there, and nobody was visible around. So she felt that the room was haunted by spirits, and the stranger had somehow caused these to enter into her furniture. She believed that the stranger who had come in the hotel of Mr. and Mrs. Hall, who is the stranger? No one else but Griffin himself. So Mrs. Hall believed that the stranger who had come to stay in their hotel, he was behind all this trouble which was being caused. He was behind all these unlawful activities, and due to that stranger, the spirits had entered into the furniture of the room. My poor mother used to sit in that chair. She is very scared and she is very upset also, and she says that the chair which has hit Mrs. Hall was used by her mother. Very sadly, mournfully, she says, my mother used to sit in that chair. She is unable to believe that the chair which was used by her mother is now hitting her. To think it should rise up against me now. She is unable to believe that, she is unable to imagine that the chair which was used by her mother is now rising up in the air, and it is hitting Mrs. Hall. It is rising up against her now. The feeling among the neighbors was that the trouble was caused by witchcraft. The neighbors believed that all these unnatural instances which were happening in Mr. and Mrs. Hall's hotel, or you can say in their house, the neighbors believed that it was witchcraft which was causing all these troubles. Now, what is witchcraft? Witchcraft means use of magical power. There's some magical power which is causing all these strange things to happen, and magical power, especially the evil powers. It is these magical powers, as you can see, if it was done by magical powers, although we know who is behind all these troubles, it was none other than Griffin. The neighbors believed that the magical powers are causing all these troubles to Mr. and Mrs. Hall. All that unnatural thing which is happening in their house is being caused, is being done by the magical powers, and these are causing these are giving troubles, causing troubles to Mr. and Mrs. Hall. Who believed this? The neighbors believed this. The feeling among the neighbors was that the trouble was caused by witchcraft. But witchcraft or not, when news of the burglary at the clergyman's house became known, burglary means theft, robbery. When news of the burglary at the clergyman's home became known, the strange scientist was strongly suspected of having had a hand in it. When it was found, when the robbery was found out, when it was found out that the clergyman's home has been robbed, everybody suspected that the strange scientist is behind all these things. The strange scientist is behind the robbery also. I am reading this again. The strange scientist was strongly suspected of having had a hand in it. Suspicion grew even stronger when he suddenly produced some ready cash, though he had admitted not long before that he had no money. In our previous class, if you remember, we had studied one page in which I had read out that Griffin told Mrs. Hall that all the money that he had, all the ready cash that he had was over, and he was waiting for a check to arrive soon. So now all of a sudden he presents some cash money. How was this possible? When all the cash money was over, it was finished, from where has this money come now? That is why everybody suspected that the robbery which has taken place in the clergyman's home, nobody else has done, but it is the scientist who was staying in the house of Mr. and Mrs. Hall. He was behind all this. He was behind the robbery as well. And the suspicion became stronger when he presented some cash. The village constable was secretly sent for. The village constable was secretly sent for. That means he was secretly called. Why was he called? So that Griffin could be caught. The village constable was secretly sent for. Instead of waiting for the constable, Mrs. Hall went to the scientist, who had somehow mysteriously appeared from his empty bedroom. Now, even stranger things are happening. The room till now, the bedroom of Mrs. Hall till now was empty. There was nobody. The furniture was behaving in a strange manner, but the room was empty. But now suddenly Griffin appeared in that room, and Mrs. Hall went to Griffin to investigate, to find out the reasons for his behaving in such a strange manner, and also to find out the truth, whether he was behind the robbery or not, etc., etc. So when she went inside the room to ask questions to the scientist, she found that mysteriously, in a very strange manner, Griffin was there in the room. Griffin had appeared from his empty bedroom. I want to know what you have been doing to my chair upstairs. This is the first question she asks Griffin. She is saying, I want to know what have you been doing to my chair upstairs. Remember how the chair was behaving in a strange manner. She demanded, she questioned this. And I want to know, how is it you came out of an empty room and how you entered a locked room? She is strange. She is finding this thing very strange, and she is asking that I also want to know how suddenly you appeared out of an empty room. Still now you were invisible, there was nobody in the room. Suddenly how you appeared in the room, and how you entered a locked room. The scientist was also quick tempered. As we have seen earlier in the starting of the lesson, he was a short tempered man. He used to lose his temper very soon. He became angry very soon. The scientist was always quick tempered. That means he lost his temper, he became angry quickly. Now he became furious. Why he becomes furious? Because Mrs. Hall is asking different questions to him, and he is becoming angry. You don't understand who or what I am, he shouted. Very well, I'll show you. Now angrily he says that you don't know, you don't understand who I am. I will show you who I am. Suddenly he threw off bandages, whiskers, spectacles, and even nose. It took him only a minute to do this. It took him only a minute to remove all these artificial things, the unnatural things which he was wearing. His nose, his whiskers, spectacles, bandages, etc. Whatever he was wearing, he removed everything now. The horrified people in the bar found themselves staring at a headless man. The horrified people, the people were fearful, the people were extremely scared when they saw a strange thing in front of them. What did they see? They saw a man whose head was not visible, a headless man. Mr. Jeffers, the constable, now arrived and was quite surprised to find that he had to arrest a man without a head. Till now, before the arrival of this constable, Griffin was visible to Mrs. Hall. His head was also visible. But now, when he has started removing his bandages and his whiskers and his nose and all those things which he was wearing, he was putting on his face, he started removing everything. Suddenly, his head became invisible. And when the constable reached the spot, when Mr. Jeffers, the constable, reached the spot, he was surprised to see that he was asked to arrest a man whose head was invisible. He was a headless man. He was a headless man. But Jeffers was not easily prevented from doing his duty. But Jeffers, the constable, was he was a dutiful man, and he had to do his duty. He had to arrest that man. So in spite of the fact that he was seeing a headless man in front of him, he was bound to arrest him. But Jeffers was not easily prevented from doing his duty. If a magistrate's warrant ordered a person's arrest, then that person had to be arrested, with or without his head. Look how funny. It is, the writer is writing, Mr. H.G. Wells, the writer is writing that if a magistrate had ordered a person's arrest warrant, or a person's arrest warrant has been issued by the magistrate, then whether that man has a head or he is a headless man, he had to be arrested. And so Mr. Jeffers, the constable, was doing his duty very sincerely. There followed a remarkable scene as the policeman tried to get hold of a man who was becoming more and more invisible as he threw off one garment after another. Till now, after reading so many things about Griffin, we very well know that if Griffin removes all his clothes one by one and he becomes completely naked, then what is going to happen? He will become invisible. So this is what Griffin is trying to do in order to escape from being caught. He removes his clothes gradually, one garment after another, one garment after another. He removes his clothes and he is trying to become invisible so that the constable cannot catch hold of him. I am reading this again. There followed a remarkable scene as the policeman tried to get hold of a man who was becoming more and more invisible as he threw off one garment after another. Finally, a shirt flew into the air, and the constable found himself struggling with someone he could not see at all. Now, Griffin was becoming invisible. His shirt finally was flying in the air. But the constable was so sincere in his duty, he had to catch hold of the thief, and he was struggling hard. He was really having a tough time trying to catch a person who was now almost invisible. Some people tried to help him, but found themselves hit by blows that seemed to come from nowhere. Another very interesting line. See, I am reading again. Some people tried to help him. Help him whom? Help the constable to catch hold of this strange scientist. Some people tried to help him, but found themselves hit by blows that seemed to come from nowhere. When some people tried to help the constable to catch this man, Griffin, they were hit by different blows. That means they were being slapped. Who was slapping? Griffin. Although since he was invisible, he could slap anybody and nobody was able to catch him. So what did the people see? That they were being slapped by someone who could be seen nowhere, who could be found nowhere. In the end, Jeffers was knocked unconscious as he made a last attempt to hold on to the unseen scientist. So finally, when this constable Jeffers tried for the last time to catch hold of the unseen scientist, he was knocked so hard, he was hit so hard that he became unconscious. There were nervous, excited cries of "Hold him!" but this was easier said than done. People were shouting loudly, "Hold him, hold him!" But this was easier said than done. That means it was easy to say, "Hold him," but it was not easy to do. It was not easy to follow this command, "Hold him." Why? Because how can anybody catch hold of someone who is invisible? Since Griffin was invisible, so although the people tried hard, they tried all their attempts one by one to catch hold of him, but all in vain. Griffin had shaken himself free, and no one knew where to lay hands on him. Finally, Griffin was free from all these people, all the constable, everybody. No one was able to catch him in the end, and now he was free completely once again, and no one knew where to lay hands on him. That means no one knew how to catch him. So this is how the story ends, and we have seen that Griffin, although he was such a brilliant scientist, he misused his intelligence, he misused his knowledge and caused so many troubles in the lives of different people. Now, as we can see, children, that at the back of the chapter, only 2 questions are there under the heading "Think about it," and under the heading "Talk about it" there are 3 questions. Now these 3 questions, first I am taking up under the heading "Think about it," the 2 questions which are there. I am giving you one more question. So today we will discuss in all 3 questions. One I am giving you as an extra question, and 2 are already printed in your book. Today's first question that we will discuss is, Why did Mrs. Hall find the scientist eccentric? Remember, we have read that Mrs. Hall called him an eccentric scientist. Why? Why did Mrs. Hall find the scientist eccentric? The answer is Mrs. Hall found the scientist eccentric because the arrival of a stranger at the inn in winter was very unusual. This is the first reason. Mrs. Hall found him, or you can write found Griffin or the stranger eccentric because the arrival of this stranger at the inn in winter was very unusual. Moreover, he had a strange appearance. This is the second reason. His appearance was very strange. Remember, he was wearing all those things. He had a strange appearance. In spite of Mrs. Hall's attempts to be friendly, he behaved in an indifferent manner. This is the third reason. In spite of Mrs. Hall's attempts to be friendly, he behaved in an indifferent manner. He told her that he had no desire to talk and wanted solitude. He did not wish to be disturbed in his work and wanted Mrs. Hall to leave him alone. So these are the reasons why Mrs. Hall found the scientist to be eccentric. Now the question is printed in your book. I am doing that question. Griffin was rather a lawless person. Comment. You can easily write several reasons, several instances from the lesson to prove that he was a lawless person. I am reading out the answer to you. It is rightly said that Griffin was a lawless person. He set fire to his landlord's house. This is the first instance we can give to prove that Griffin was a lawless person. He set fire to his landlord's house. He also robbed a shopkeeper of all the money he could find. This is the second instance to prove that he was a lawless person. I am reading again. He also robbed a shopkeeper of all the money he could find. He stole the housekeeping money from the clergyman's desk. This is another instance. He stole the housekeeping money from the clergyman's desk. He attacked Mrs. Hall when she entered his room. This is another reason. He attacked Mrs. Hall when she entered his room. All these instances prove that he was really a lawless person. Now, either you can write this answer and the previous answer also as one paragraph, or if you want to write point wise, you can write point wise also. If you feel that you can learn point wise answer faster, then you can change this answer into point form also. This is according to your choice and convenience. Now, third question. This question is also printed in your book, children. How would you assess Griffin as a scientist? How would you assess Griffin as a scientist? That means, according to you, what kind of a person was he as a scientist? Griffin was a brilliant scientist. We can't deny this fact. He was a brilliant scientist. He had discovered how to make the human body transparent. It was something extraordinary, but he misused his discovery and caused troubles to others. I am reading the whole thing again. Griffin was a brilliant scientist. He had discovered how to make the human body transparent. It was something extraordinary, but he misused his discovery and caused troubles to others. He misused the power of science. Hence, we cannot consider Griffin as a good human being. This is how I have concluded the answer. If you want to change the language of the answer, you want to write the answer in your own words, you are most welcome to do so, children. Please don't hesitate. You can add your own sentences, you can add your own thoughts. You are most welcome to do this. Now, these questions you will do in your copies. Earlier we had done 3 questions. Today I have done 3 questions with you. That means total 6 questions are there which you have to do in your copies. Now we are going to discuss the questions which are only meant for discussion purpose. You don't have to write them at all in your copies. The heading is talk about it. Would you like to become invisible? What advantages and disadvantages do you foresee if you did? A very interesting question. You can think on your own. Do you want to become invisible? Some may say yes. If you will say yes, then you will have to give reasons that if you are invisible, according to you, what are going to be its advantages or disadvantages. Some may say no, giving their own advantages and disadvantages. So this is one's own perception, one's own thinking. It is not that I can say only the answer should be in yes or no. That is why I am saying we don't have to do them in the copy at all. Are there forces around us that are invisible? For example, magnetism. Are there aspects of matter that are invisible or not visible to the naked eye? What would the world be like if you could see such forces or such aspects of matter? This is again according to yours. If you have a very scientific thinking, then you can give proofs from science. Are there invisible things like magnetism? Are there such forces? Is there magnetism around us? You can give your own scientific reasons, scientific proofs, or you can, if you say no completely, then you can give your own reasoning according to that. What makes glass or water transparent? What is the scientific explanation for this? Again, we need not explain. We can just orally discuss. If you have any knowledge about why water is transparent, some scientific knowledge, you can find out from your science teacher and increase your knowledge why water is transparent or why glass is transparent. Do you think it would be scientifically possible for a man to become invisible or transparent? Do you believe in supernatural powers? Do you believe in science? If you believe in science, then do you believe that it is possible for a person to become transparent or invisible? Some may say yes, some may say no. Keep in mind that writers of science fiction have often turned out to be prophetic in their imagination. That means they bring the aspects of God, they bring the aspect of religion, and they try to prove their point of view. So these 3 questions are just for oral discussion. When we will meet later on in our class, when the school will reopen, then we can discuss these things in the class, because just now we can't interact, we can't have a discussion just now. That is why these 3 questions there is no need to do at all in the copy. We will later on discuss when we will meet in the school. So total you have to do 6 questions in the copy, children. Please do your work neatly, carefully. I am sure you are doing everything in one copy, or if you are doing on sheets of paper, you are stapling everything. Make a file, keep everything, because these things are not going to be repeated again and again. We can discuss things again, but once you have written all these answers, you will not keep on writing these answers again and again and waste your time. So write very neatly, very carefully, keep intact, and finish your work regularly. Read the whole chapter once again. If you have any questions to ask, you can mark them, and later on when we will meet, we can always discuss things and solve all doubts. So this is how this interesting lesson comes to an end. We have read about a very interesting scientist named Griffin, who causes so many troubles in the lives of people, who makes his body invisible by removing his clothes, and he is just doing everything for fun. He is using his knowledge just for fun, for his personal gains, and he is causing troubles in the lives of so many people. So after reading this lesson, we come to a conclusion that we should never misuse science. Science is a gift to humanity. Science is a gift to man. We should always use science for the benefit of others, for the benefit of human beings, for the benefit of the world, and we should never misuse science. Keep this in mind. Have a nice day.